Plenty to prove in Week 9 of the NFL season. The eyes of Monday Night Football are upon AT&T Stadium yet again as two franchises that have all sorts of things on the line one day before the trade deadline, which we'll get to in a moment as well. As this 2025 season begins to take shape, you've got the Jedi is the force on the side of Solomon Thomas and the Dallas Cowboys as Halloween night is in the rearview mirror, but the Arizona Cardinals are in the front view mirror for this Cowboys team. And how about the pink from George Pickens? Ooh. I don't really know how to feel about that, but it looks good on George.
He can pull it off.
I think Barry would be the only one up here that would feel good with it. But welcome to Cowboys Pregame Live, presented by WinStar World Casino and Resort. We are live from the AT&T East Plaza at AT&T Stadium. We've got an incredible group of Cowboys fans back behind us. A couple scattered Cardinals fans hanging in at a 2-5 record, but the Cowboys look to get back to 500 this week. With Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeoman. So glad you're with us. We'll be joined shortly by Nicole Hutchison and Nick Eatman down on the sideline. But Barry, the energy is there. It's prime time. It doesn't matter what the records end up being, but tonight we're going to have a lot of fun here in Arlington.
Yeah, this is one of those games as a player you don't have to get up for. I mean, you understand that the atmosphere out here is electric. When you look at this is Monday Night Football right now. You got ESPN. You got the Dallas Cowboys pregame live show covering the game. You don't have to get up for this type of game. The momentum's going to be on the Dallas Cowboys side, and I can't wait to see the performance this afternoon.
It's time to get to 500. 3, 4, and 1 just don't sound good. You know what I'm saying, Nate? Like, we disperse about the 1, but you need to make sure that you get the 4. You got to go out here and take care of business. You cannot look past the Arizona Cardinals. Prior to the season beginning, you may have been able to look past them, but this is a formidable team, regardless of what your record shows.
I just really believe when the star come on Monday Night Football, it's something special. Yeah, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
I've been a part of that. You guys are part of it. Let's go, Cowboys.
Absolutely. There's a lot on the line. Of course, we talked about Dallas trying to get back to 500. This Cardinals team is 2-5. All 5 of those games have been in succession. They've lost 5 straight, all by 1 score. They have been in these games, and they're trying to get over the hump finally and get their first win since a 2-0 start. Let's talk about the Dallas defense, which, of course, has had some ups and some downs, but more downs than ups to start the year. This tweet from Todd Archer at the moment, the Cowboys right at that historic mark where they have not played very well. You talk about the big playability, stopping the run recently, all of these things stacking up for the Dallas defense. Barry, I'll start with you as our resident defender up here on set. Where do you go to start fixing the Dallas defense?
Well, there's a lot of holes, like you mentioned. I mean, you got holes on all 3 levels. You got the defensive line, the linebackers, the secondary. And to me, a lot of it has to do with the communication issues that you have out there with the Dallas Cowboys, especially in the secondary. They're not talking as one. And when you talk about the front 7, a lot of these guys aren't winning the one-on-one blocks. They're not winning the one-on-one opportunities out there. They're sticking to these blocks and not getting off versus the run. And in the pass game, they're not able to get to the quarterback. But that's just something that this Dallas Cowboys defense is going to have to improve if they want to make a run late in this season.
As DCBC just stated, this defense has a lot of holes in different areas. But if I am the D coordinator and I'm playing general manager, I feel as if you need to start with your defensive line. The reason being, you're not taking away the run game. You have to be able to discourage teams from running the ball. If they can run the ball, then they can pass the ball. You have to be able to take away one. Now, if you were able to go out there and have a formidable defense on the interior, now you're starting to force teams to run the ball to the outside. And that's where you have the benefit of the doubt. Your linebackers can run and hit, but you cannot allow teams to be able to just line up, hand the ball off, and go downhill. You're unable to get off on 3rd down right now, and the run game is a big part of it.
On the run game, we're all on the same page. They have to stop the run. When you, the man's double team with your down guys, I'm talking about your 3 techniques. I'm talking about Osa. I'm talking about Clark. They have to demand double team so your linebackers, they're young linebackers, let them be able to run. Stop the run, and then you can dictate everything else.
And, of course, Coach Schottenheimer and this coaching staff have taken notice of what has happened on the defensive side. Here's what he said earlier this week when it comes to making changes on that unit.
Defense is about more than just one guy. I mean, like, some of our defensive struggles have not been because of one guy not doing the right thing, and it's not been, one assignment. It hasn't been one defense, whether it's man, zone, whatever. It's been, what team defense is about. I saw a crazy stat. Myles Garrett, somebody said, had 5 sacks last game, and they lost. I mean, this is the ultimate team game, and defense, and the more I spend time over there, you realize I guess as the offensive guy, just kind of always took it for granted because we had our own issues. But, like, if you're not aligned perfectly in terms of your fits and things like that, it makes it really, really difficult.
It's really beneficial because you can see it through the offensive coordinator's eyes. He gives insight, not only in a meeting, a defensive meeting or a unit meeting, but also, us just talking, in the office together. So I think that's really important to really soak that in. And I've always, even with the quarterbacks that I've been with, I've always asked them, Phillip Rivers, Tony Romo, all those guys that I've been around, I've always asked, what's tough on you, in terms of a presentation, and what we can do to make it look a certain way. And it's always been beneficial.
All right, Barry Church, you've broken down the film. You've talked about this all week long. I want you to take us through how does Dallas, from an X's and O's standpoint, avoid the big play?
Well, when you talk about an X's and O's standpoint, to me, there's two things that this defense has got to get better at. One, it's your man-to-man technique, all right? And secondly, it's got to be the communication within the defense. I know you're dealing with a lot of young pups out there, but the communication has got to be key. Right here, we're going to talk about the man-to-man coverage, all right? You have your defensive backs playing man-to-man coverage against Denver like they were last week. As you see there, they're playing off coverage because it's 2nd and 12. So I don't mind a little bit of space between the receivers out there. Now, you got Reedy in the middle, all right? He's controlling the middle of the field right there. Here's your red line to red line wide receiver, free safety out there. But I want you to focus on my man Bridges. I don't want to butcher his first name, so I'm just going to call Bridges out there. So he's man-to-man coverage on Cortland Sutton right here. As you see from the pass rush, Donovan Ezeraku has been able to do a great job of getting after Bo Nix. But as we zoom in on the man-to-man technique right here from Bridges, you would love to see him to open up already. You got Cortland Sutton running right down your face. He's going full speed at you. You got to open up those hips, and you got to run. He allows Cortland Sutton to step on his toes right there. And there's an old saying in the National Football League, if the receiver is even with you, he is leaving you, okay? And this is exactly what happened with Bridges in this situation right there. He let Cortland Sutton close that gap right there. And as we see right here, he was able to create that separation. Isaiah, the former quarterback, can attest to this as well. 2-yard separation in the National Football League, you might as well be wide open, especially with a guy like Bo Nix dropping it in a bucket right there. So when we talk about the Bridges and this man-to-man technique, we need him to open up his hips a lot faster. That way he's able to run with Cortland Sutton and close that window between Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton out there. If he's able to do that, that may have given Donovan Ezeraku an extra tick, an extra second to get after the quarterback. At the very worst, it's a bang-bang play at the reception point, which is an incomplete pass, 3rd and 13 instead of 1st and 10 in the red zone for the Denver Broncos. Now, let's go to the next clip. As we see the next clip, this is going to be a communication error. All right, you got the Ron Bland on the left corner spot, and you also got Elijah Clark, a young undrafted free safety, rookie undrafted free safety for the Dallas Cowboys right there. Now, they're playing a deep cover 4 zone. Cover 4 zone is one of the easiest zones you can have when you want to pass things off. But you have got to have pre-snap communication. As we see there, there is no communication between Bland and Clark. Clark is playing it as though he's man-to-man. He's locked up on his second wide receiver. But as you see Deron Bland trying to communicate to him, look, we need to pass this off. Elijah Clark, get back to the post to take care of that post route as I fall back to that 7 cut. There's no communication, and the result is a touchdown for the Denver Broncos. Now, Kyle, I understand, all right? The Dallas Cowboys were down to their 3rd and 4th string safeties out there. But you have got to have communication, especially with those young pups out there with their first kind of game experience. You've got to over-communicate as a secondary to play as a unit. If this defense wants to get better throughout this season, they've got to communicate within the secondary, and they've got to start winning their one-on-one opportunities. Hopefully it starts tonight against the Arizona Cardinals.
Now, Barry, I see you trying to give them an escape route. You know what I'm saying?
I tried to help them out.
Listen, the haunted houses are over, okay? We're in November now. These are all professional athletes, and these coverages that you're talking about are not difficult coverages. No. These are cover 4, cover 3, cover 2. These are the basics. These are things that you learn when you're playing Little League football. Should there be miscommunication with these particular coverages?
No, not at all. These are basic, simple coverages. And like that example we saw with the switch release, the scissors route, this is something that I put on the vet Deron Bland, because you've been experienced, you understand what's going out there. You got to make sure your safety understands what's going on, and that pre-snap communication is key to limiting explosive plays, and we just haven't seen that much from the Dallas Cowboys this season.
Everybody outside of AT&T Stadium just got a little bit smarter about the secondary and what's happening on that Dallas defense. Let's go back inside AT&T Stadium. We're on the sidelines. We're now joined by Nick Eatman. And Nick, a lot of questions around how this team is going to respond after that game last week against the Denver Broncos. What has been the feel around the team as they get ready for this matchup with Arizona?
Well, I mean, it's like any roller coaster, you know. If it goes down, it has to come up, and that's exactly what has to happen here. And I think that's what this team looks at is you know, what can we do this week to make things better, get off the field on defense, score a little bit more on offense. I mean, I think that was one game where you look at it and say, all right, offense is good, defense is a problem. Well, in this game, it was both. And anytime you have both, you know, it's one of those situations where the Cowboys have to clean up their act on all sides of the ball, special teams as well. And I think they know that. You know, it's good to come home here at AT&T Stadium, but, you know, they like I said many times, you got to win on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday if you're going to win on Sunday, or in this case, Monday.
Now, Nick, Mr. Double J himself, Jerry Jones, has already mentioned it and made it public that one trade has already been put in the books, right? One's in the chamber. Will tonight's game have any impact on his ability or willingness to make any more moves before tomorrow's trade deadline?
I heard the question, Isaiah, but I just saw Tony Dorsett, who's my favorite player of all time, so I'm just going to kind of look over at that. But, yeah, the trade, I think, like you said one in the chamber, two out there. Yeah, I think Jerry can change his mind at any time. I think he can have two more or actually none at all. That's just the nature of it. You know, you don't want to see any injuries, obviously, from the Cowboys standpoint, so that could affect, you know, if they want to make any more trades. But I think they kind of know, you know, there's enough season here to know that defense needs help. I mean, it doesn't matter what they do. They could pitch a shutout tonight, which would be awesome. But if they do that, they still know you need help on defense. Jacoby Brissett is not playing on other teams here later on in the year. They've got to make sure that they fix this defense. So I don't know if this game, win or loss, really matters as far as getting help on defense.
Hey, Nicholas, back to what works, the offense. Check this out. The Cardinals are a team that plays a cover two defense, and it makes you earn everything down the field. Do you think the Cowboys are ready for that 10, 15-play drive and score every time?
Yeah, two words for that. Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson's going to have to be the guy. You're going to play that kind of defense, fine. You know, Dak loves to kind of, you know, take what the defense gives him. It sounds like the Cardinals are going to give you a lot of Jake Ferguson, which, you know, after a 0-catch game last week, I'm sure he'll be chomping at the bit. I would expect that kind of performance from him. Javonte to run the ball, maybe some screens as well. And these receivers, you catch it underneath, got to break tackles. That's one thing I think George Pickens has done a really nice job this year, is the run after catch.
All right, Nick, now with Kyler Murray, you know, not starting in this matchup tonight, and we know the success he's had at AT&T Stadium, but with him not starting this afternoon, who do the Dallas Cowboys have to make sure they keep their eye on so that this Arizona offense doesn't get explosive here tonight?
Well, I just said the tight end for the Cowboys, Jake Ferguson. How about Trey McBride on the other side? I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't had a breakout season, but, you know, unfortunately, the Cowboys defense has allowed breakout games from a lot of players, so you got to watch Marvin Harrison Jr., but also McBride as well. They've got some playmakers there that Brissett can get the ball to.
Now, Nick, the Cowboys having so much success here at AT&T Stadium this year. I know the crowd behind us is having a lot of fun. They're getting into the energy as well. But what's the key for the Cowboys to keep that momentum rolling whenever it comes to playing at home this season?
I think scoring early and getting leads. You know, I mean, they didn't do that against Green Bay, but some of the other games we've seen here, they start off hot. I think there's a confidence there. I would imagine if they win the toss tonight, I bet they take the ball and try to go score and put pressure on the defense. But they've been scoring a lot at home. Brandon Aubrey, of course, has been automatic here. But the fact that they can pitch it and catch it around the yard really well, they're doing that well here. And, you know, I would imagine, you know, there might be some Cardinal fans here, but this is going to be a really good home crowd. And, I'm expecting another, you know, Kyle, I'm expecting more 40 burgers tomorrow morning, all right?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Let's get the 40 burgers back for Talking Cowboys tomorrow. Nick Eatman, as always, thanks so much there on the sideline at AT&T Stadium. You certainly got the crowd behind us riled up with that one. Let's hear from our trivia question of the day, brought to you by Josh Butler, plus a media mashup from all of the Dallas Cowboys locker room best moments this week.
Today's trivia question is, when did the Cowboys appear on Monday Night Football for the first time?
CD, you're obviously very close with George Pickens. He's a free agent after the season. Has your mind gone to the place of, hey, I want him to stay, I don't want him to leave, or where does your mind go about that?
What you think? I'm just asking. Yeah. You want
to come back?
Yeah, I absolutely want him to come back. That's my guy. That's my man. I feel like we've grown this bond in a matter of minutes, honestly. And I understand him. He understands me as a competitor. I know what he is on the field. I know what he is off the field. And I feel like we just click, you know what I'm saying? And I want the best for him, obviously, whether it's making the most money in the NFL at the position or whatever that looks like. But I do want him to win.
What advice would you give to Neil and Jerry?
What are we doing? Stay positive, man. Stay positive. Your money gonna come.
Would you rather get a deal done now or wait for the
I really don't. That's kind of up to like what he want to do. All I can do is just perform at my best. Jerry.
any discussions at all?
Not so far. But like I said, me personally, I'm just trying to get a dub, trying to stack victories, trying to get us to the playoffs. Win, honestly.
Having been traded once already, do you have any concerns with the trade deadline coming up about whether you'll be here after that?
No, I kind of don't get into that stuff. I can only be where my feet is, you know what I mean? So I kind of just stay with the guys, practice with the guys, try to do my best, put my best foot forward.
George Pickens is ready for his Monday night debut with the Dallas Cowboys as we are live here from the AT&T East Plaza in Arlington, Texas. It is week 9 of Cowboys Pregame Live, presented by WinStar World Casino and Resort, alongside Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, and Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeoman. So glad you're with us. It's been a great crowd out here. We're excited to see them inside. This is a massive game for the Cowboys, not only because it's going into the bye week, it's a chance to get back to 500, but we've all seen the schedule that the NFL has for the Cowboys over the final 2 months of the season. Here's what the back half of the schedule looks like, and gentlemen, it is not an easy one. After the bye week, you go to Las Vegas, and then you face both teams that were in the Super Bowl a year ago in succession and on a short week. You got Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon, then you turn around and it's Kansas City on Thanksgiving. Why is this schedule so daunting whenever it comes to the Cowboys team and what they've shown so far, Isaiah?
Just because these are all experienced teams. You want to talk about teams that have a history of winning. That's what you're talking about. You're not talking about teams that are new to this. You're talking about teams that are true to this, and that's exactly what you have to face on the second half of this season. You talk about the Chiefs. You talk about Minnesota Vikings, what they propose, the Detroit Lions. Those guys are going to get you at the kneecaps. Whatever it is, these guys are tough. So that's what you have to be able to show, that you can consistently win ball games. You can't win one, lose one when you're starting to face these guys down the road.
Do you feel like there's enough offensive firepower? Because the offense has been there. The defense has not, Barry, to try and win some of those games, because the only as you get deeper into this, your offense is going to be tested more and more by better defense.
Without a doubt, I believe this offense has more than enough firepower to go out there and combat these teams. If they ask to win a shootout, I believe they have the firepower to do so. You're talking about a top 3 wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb. You're talking about a guy in George Pickens who's basically crushed all thoughts of what he was coming into this season with Dak Prescott and the rapport that they have. You have a top ground game. You have one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. Offensive line is playing well. So to me, they have the firepower, but just like Isaiah said, they have to be more consistent, and they have to do that on the road as well. But luckily, a lot of those tough teams are at the AT&T Stadium.
That consistency going to come with the defense.
Yeah.
That is what we're hurting at.
Yep.
The run game one week, the pass game the next week, then both the following week. If our defense don't get consistent in who they are and and what they're going to determine, we're going to stop the run, or we're going to stop the pass, and we'll rally the other. If that don't happen, this great offense is going to go to waste.
And that's the problem. You don't want this offense with this quarterback play, Isaiah, to go to waste.
No, not at all. I mean, Nate just touched on it. You have to be able to take full advantage of what these other teams are going to propose. These other teams are going to score points. Every single team that you're facing, regardless if your defense is playing well or not, especially at the level that which your defense is playing right now. So your offense has to continue to take care of business. But if you're asking a bottom two defense right now for the Dallas Cowboys to simply just get to the middle of the road, you can't be 31 or 32 in the league. Be 16, 17. If you get 50% better production out of this Dallas Cowboys defense and you maintain your offensive productivity, you're in a completely different conversation than what we're sitting here talking about right now.
And we take a look at some of the NFL points leaders. The Cowboys are up toward the top in terms of scoring offenses this season, currently number 2 behind Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. This is going into week 9. So this, of course, has not been updated since what happened with Indianapolis falling to Pittsburgh yesterday. And then, of course, the Cowboys have a chance to add to that 246. It wasn't their best offensive performance of the year last week. If anything, it was their worst offensive performance of the week, including the quarterback play from Dak Prescott. But where is one player, one person, and Barry, I'll start with you on this offensive side of the football, that is going to see a rebound performance tonight?
Well, I'm not going just one player, all right? I'm going as a unit. I'm going with the offensive line right here. This is the offensive line that has dealt with injuries throughout this entire season, but they've played well. They've kept Dak Prescott upright in the majority of these games out here. But I believe last week they got punched in the mouth, all right? Denver had a formidable front seven, and they were able to get after Dak Prescott and, kind of rattle him, get him off of the spot. They sacked him twice out here. So to me, I'm looking forward for this offensive line to rebound out there and have a better performance. Let Dak get back to that cool, calm, and collected quarterback we've seen all season long, and I'm expecting just a rebound game for this offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys.
You know what's amazing to me is that the Cowboys had one of their lowest performances as an offense, right? Who did not show? Who did not play well? Who did they not get a ball for his patented 5 yards? It's got to be my boy Jake Ferguson. And when Jake Ferguson catches more than 5 passes for the average of 5 yards and 2 touchdowns, we seem to win. Isaiah, do you have an answer for that?
You know what? I have no bets about that one. I agree with you, big dog. But you know what? You know who I believe in, Nate? I believe in Javonte. Yes, I believe in Javonte Williams. I think he gets back on track tonight. The reason being because they understand that when they only give him the ball 13 times, he only rushes for 40 yards. They did it against Carolina. He had 13 rushes for 29 yards. They did it against Denver. He had 13 rushes for 41 yards. But you know what happens when you give him the ball 15 plus times? What happens? He gets 135, 116. And it can be even better when you're facing a defensive line like the Arizona Cardinals have when they run a 3-4 defense. And if anybody knows anything about 3-4 defense, is my big dog Nate dog. He starts drooling a little bit because there's going to be natural running lanes for these guys to be able to get up on the linebackers, and then Javonte Williams can run right behind the big fellas.
So what you're saying is they need to throw the ball to my boy first a little bit more for your boy, because we all believe in Javonte. Okay.
I like it. You guys are trying to fight, but at the same time, you're saying the same thing. You're still on the same page. You want to see success all the way through. No, it's really a must for this offense to get back on track tonight. And I think the matchup with this Arizona defense allows that. A team that plays a lot of zone, that doesn't have a ton of pass rush, and they play their style of brand specifically, and you've got a chance to take advantage of that tonight. All right, we've got Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton up here. I'm Kyle Yeomans. This is Cowboys Pregame live on site at AT&T Stadium in the AT&T East Plaza. But we have a 5th member of our crew here indeed. Let's toss it over to Nicole Hutchison, who had a chance to catch up with the Cowboys rookie first-round pick, Tyler Booker. What's up, Nicole?
What up, y'all? You know, obviously I'm excited to talk about T-Book because Tyler Booker is fresh off one of his better games of the entire season, right, despite battling that ankle injury. But, you know, we knew from the tape that we watched him coming out of college, right, his technique needed a little bit of tweaking, his footwork as well. But there was one area of his game that he needed some tweaking. At least that's what he told me come draft. And he said, it's that mental side of things. And I asked him this week, you know, where do you feel like you are with that? He said, I think it's where it needs to be.
Something I have noticed, like the better I've played is because the more confident I am within the within knowing what I'm supposed to do more importantly, and then also just playing with my teammates, because me and T Steele, like, I feel like the more we play, the better we get. Like, we had a few pretty good double teams in that Broncos game, and that's just something that he and I spoke about. Like, the more we get those opportunities, the more we take advantage of them, the better we'll be.
Talk about that confidence. What's kind of went into that?
Pretty much everybody in the building. Everybody's just letting me know how much they believe in me, how much they trust me, and front, whether it's, like you said, T Steele, T-Sid, Tyler Smith, or Dak.
You've been a guy that's going to do whatever it takes to grow, improve, and be the best at your position. Talk about, back in your high school days, you basically went to school an hour away. You lived with a family that during the week, to make sure you were able to play football where you wanted to play football and have success. How did that early kind of grind shape or build the player that you are today?
My freshman year, I went to Bergen Catholic in New Jersey. Then from my sophomore year on, I went all the way to Florida to attend ING Academy. So it really just forced me to grow up really fast. Like, I didn't have the luxury of having my mom remind me of my homework, even though she did through FaceTime. I didn't have that luxury of her having to wake me up, or just really being able to grow up within the same household as my siblings. And that was something that was a tough investment that I had to make.
I want to talk about when you were younger. I believe you said when you were 9 years old, you watched Deacon Jones on Football Life, and where he did a little head slap. What was it that stood out to you or stuck with you at 9 years old about Deacon Jones, aside from that head slap that he used to do?
He was so dominant. Like, people feared him. Just watching that Football Life, I remember, and I would watch those before school, so I remember trying it out in my Little League game that Saturday, and I figured out that they outlawed that rule, but just having that dominant mindset and the beater that he had, that's something that I took from watching that, and I incorporated to my game, even at such a young age. But that just goes to show you how much I love the game of football.
How have you carried that into your game?
Just like I was watching Deacon Jones, it just changed to me watching Tyler Smith, Tyler Guy, and Terrence Steele, watching some of my teammates who do it at a high level, and then watching some of the other top guys in the league do it at a high level.
I remember you also had mentioned in the pre-draft process was that you like seeing life leave your opponent's eyes. Has there been a moment so far this season where you've had that moment play out just yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I feel like there's a lot more that I have to do in order to achieve that goal. But what I meant by that is just really, like, as an offensive line, when you're running the ball and you're up a score or 2 scores, and you're just trying to run the clock out, and you can see, like, they're not playing as hard as they were playing in the first quarter. Like, they don't want it as bad as me anymore. You in the run game, what jumped out on the film, your raw power, athleticism. Talk about what was the key that helped you develop that part of your game in run blocking. I feel like that starts from me playing defensive line at such a young age, just having that attack mindset and really just changing it to the offensive side of the ball. But okay, go attack. You had mentioned cohesion has obviously been a big difficult part for you guys. But aside from that, what's been the most challenging part of kind of getting to where you guys want to be? Starting with me, we just have to be more consistent. And what I mean by that is just we show flashes of greatness as a whole, but there's times that we don't. And I feel like, me personally, I'm a big part of that. Like, I don't want to hold the offense back by any means. So whether that's me being better in pass protection, me being better in run blocking, me being a better communicator, I just feel like it starts with me. So I first and foremost have to be better so we can be more consistent as a whole.
Hey, you talk about a guy that's hungry. Tyler Booker is him. I mean, this is the same person who was on an assault bike in a boot, right? Trying to make sure that he was staying up to par with his rehab. So I don't doubt in my mind, Kyle, that this kid is going to be where he needs to be come the end of the season. But he also told me that, he feels a lot of confidence that now at the end of the year, he's going to be what they need him to be at the right guard position.
Thank you very much, Nicole. I like how you said that there. You said kid. Yeah. He's not necessarily a kid, but it's true. He's young. He's learning. He's part of this offensive line that has sky-high expectations, and a lot of times you're not able to hit that immediately. Thank you so much, Nicole. We really appreciate it. We're going to catch up with Nicole a little bit later on in the show as well, and you can catch that entire interview on DallasCowboys.com and the Cowboys YouTube channel as well. All right. We've talked about this a couple times throughout the year, but how about George Pickens and his addition to this Cowboys offense? Here's what his route chart has looked like over the last week, and this is what he did against the Denver Broncos. Even in a day where the offense was not clicking on all cylinders, George Pickens was still making an impact. 7 receptions, 78 yards, and of course there were a couple opportunities for him to continue his great season. Where do you see George Pickens thriving, Barry, whenever it comes to his addition to this Cowboys offense?
Tonight, I see George Pickens thriving in that third down role. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to move the chains. And the reason I say that is I believe Arizona will still look at CeeDee Lamb and say, that's the guy that we need to key on. That's the guy that we need to double team and make sure he doesn't affect the ball game. That's going to leave George Pickens one-on-one opportunities. And we've seen so far this season, he's been able to demolish all one-on-one opportunities. So for me, he's going to be that that chain mover, that deep threat. He's going to take full advantage of it.
I hope that's the case, Barry, but I do see tonight being a challenge for George Pickens just simply because of what he does well. Arizona does really well of taking away. They don't allow anybody to get beyond their safeties. When they actually understand what safety means. These guys play 20 to 25 yards deep. George Pickens likes to be the guy to take the roof off. He likes to be your big play guy down the field, your contested catch guy. If George Pickens is going to be successful tonight, I foresee it being in between the zones, near the sideline, between the corner and the safety, whenever they run to that invert cover 2 or whenever they play a cover 6 on one side. I see him having to catch some balls on the side, but he's probably going to take some solid hits in order to do so.
I just like how this kid has stayed patient. You know, when the game goes away from him, he still just waits for the game to come to him, and he makes plays when they come to him. I'm liking how he's maturing and how he's handling himself as a guy running along with CD.
That's the thing, is there was a lot of questions about what he would do as a fit in the locker room.
Yeah.
Check that box. His fit on the field, absolutely check that one with flying colors. George Pickens has been a much-needed addition to this team. Now, he's not the only trade acquisition the Cowboys could have in 2025. There are a couple trade deadline rumors that are starting to circle across the board as the trade deadline, of course, hits tomorrow. Tommy Yarish, our own DallasCowboys.com reporter, saying that, hey, Dak Prescott says that there might be some movement, might be some help out there for the taking. Are the Cowboys buyers or sellers whenever it comes to the deadline? It sounds like, based off of what Jerry said this morning, Jerry Jones on Sirius XM, he said, we're looking to be buyers at the deadline.
I can see them being buyers in this situation, but the one thing I kind of am confused about is I don't see them being just one guy away. I mean, especially on the defensive side of the football. If you're talking about offense, they're loaded, I get all that. But on the defensive side of the football, you need help along the defensive line. You need help with the linebackers. You need help in the secondary. And just acquiring one guy out there is not going to fix all those holes. So, to me, I can see them as a buyer, but I don't see any huge splashes coming from the Dallas Cowboys.
Whatever they're selling, I'm buying. I think that the Dallas Cowboys are definitely in the buyer's market right now. You already heard Double J talk about that they already have one in the chamber. That's taken care of. I most likely foresee that being in terms of helping the pass rush. I would love to see them add an additional piece to the interior defensive line. I want them to get a big nasty up front, somebody who discourages the opposing team from running the ball. You put a big nasty next to Kenny Clark, and those two right there hold down the middle. Now they have to spill the run to the outside, and there's going to be other players that may be coming off of IR on your roster that like to run and hit.
Kyle, I may be a little backwards here, so you help me. If this is baseball, we would be sellers at this point in the season.
If you're under 500 and out of the race,
but
a lot of the time.
Due to the fact that this is football, we need to be buyers, and we need to be buying everything this dude here buying. That's big, fat, greasy dudes, such as myself, in the middle.
A lot of times it depends on what you have on your roster.
Yeah.
And Dallas has a franchise quarterback. They have a franchise wide receiver. They have a bunch of young pieces on the offensive line.
Yes.
That's what you want to build around.
Right.
You're not going to sell at different points, but of course, with the 2025 season being in the microcosm, there's going to be a lot of conversations about what happens after this because of the draft picks and the youth that you have on the roster.
And I'm talking a lot about defense because obviously that's where there needs to be a lot of help. But
Sure.
if I really wanted to push everything over the edge offensively, I would get a true slot receiver. I know you have guys that can help. You had Jalen Tolbert on the roster, who was your leading touchdown receptionist last year. You have Kavontae Turpin, who is a fast guy. But I'm talking about a true possession guy. guy. I think Barry had one on his team when he played ball.
Oh, yeah.
I had one in Wes Welker when I played in New England. Every team needs that true guy that can win against a nickelback or inside linebacker and find those zones. If you go down one receiver, you might be in a bad way. So I would love to see them add one piece there too.
Well, let me ask you, Isaiah. Can Ferguson kind of be that slot guy, that security blanket, that move the chains kind of player that you're looking for in that slot receiver?
Absolutely. But the thing is, what happens when you go 11 personnel? Yeah. Right? You go 11 personnel a lot of times, and Ferguson is going to have his hand in the ground a lot of times. So I would love to have George Pickens on one side, CeeDee Lamb on one side, all the way to the outside, and then Jake Ferguson having his hand on the ground on either side. But who do you put in between? If you're able to put somebody in between, now you truly give Jake Ferguson one-on-one matchups whenever he steps on the field.
Lots of great things to talk about whenever it comes to Jake Ferguson and what he can do across the board on the field. But off the field, he's also been making an impact quite a bit as well. This week is the Salute to Service Day for the Dallas Cowboys. And Jake Ferguson is the representative for the Salute to Service Award given to each opportunity in each of the NFL teams. He is continuously making an impact in the community.
Next up. You know, when we built the museum, the whole purpose was to not only tell the amazing stories of the Medal of Honor recipients, but to have the Leadership Institute so it could espouse these stories across the country. And this is what it's all about. So we're reaching all of these students across the country in one setting right here with a mix of Medal of Honor recipients, our Dallas Cowboys players, and other players across the NFL.
Yeah, the importance of this program is huge. Shaping young minds, the future of our country, to just give them that, that jump start, that little help they might need to focus on integrity and try to make their lives better with, how they treat people, how they carry themselves, and whatever they do within their life.
Somebody prepared me for my Vietnam. I want to prepare these kids, and so does the National Medal of Honor Society and the National Medal of Honor Museum. They want to prepare these kids so that they have some kinds of tools when they're meet with challenges. This means a lot to me. I'm humbled by being asked to come here today and be a part of this celebration.
Outstanding stuff on the Salute to Service Award nominee, Mr. Jake Ferguson. And, of course, Brian Schottenheimer, there was a social media video out there this week where he was given the award nominee news in front of the entire team and, of course, received a special ovation. There he is walking in to the stadium today at AT&T, getting ready for this Monday Night Football matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals. Special thanks to all those that are out here in the AT&T East Plaza holding it down with us on Cowboys Pregame Live. The doors are open. Everybody's having fun and maneuvering through the plaza at will because there's a lot to do out here. We, of course, are out here whenever we can be, and then we are on the air 1 hour prior to kickoff every single week, leading in to the Cowboys' different games across the board. Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton, Nicole Hutchison. I'm Kyle Yeomans. All right, we've got some Hall of Fame news. How about that? A couple guys that you have played with. All three of you guys have played with a couple of guys that are up for the Hall of Fame. These are the first-year candidates, including your own Jason Witten. Mr. Witt at the tight end position could be a first-year Hall of Fame ballot honoree. What do you think about Jason Witten being on this list? And what were some of your favorite things about what Witt brought to the table?
Well, first of all, it's much deserved. And when you talk about Jason Witten, it's not really a moment with this guy. For me, it was the player he was on the football field. When you look at it, this is a guy that everybody thought was extremely buttoned up, Captain America, wouldn't say anything out there. But he was one of the top 3 trash talkers I've ever been around in the game of football. And the way he did it was so subtle. Like the refs would never check in on it, but he would just catch the ball and kind of whisper into your ear saying, hey, man, young fella, keep it up. You go all right. You'll be all right. But this guy, he was one of the top 3 trash talkers ever, but an unbelievable career, and Hall of Fame is much, much deserved for this young man.
Yeah, I hope that he's able to get in on the first round. Either way, we know he's going to eventually get in. But this dude is well-deserving, just like Barry said. When I first came into the league, Jason Witten was on the team, and I was able to admire how he approached every single day in the meeting room, how he approached practices, how intense he was. He strove for excellence, and he demanded it from absolutely everybody that was around him, and that's why he is the player that he was, and that's why he's going to be wearing that doggone gold jacket at some point in time.
I remember as a tough guy, and I remember one game his helmet popped off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they changed the rule. Cowboys have changed so many rules, you know what what I'm saying? So he's a tough guy, great man, night coaching his kids in high school. Hey, love you, Jay Webb.
Yeah, do you think he's as much of a trash talker now at Argyle Christian Academy?
Oh, yeah.
Probably even worse.
Argyle Liberty Christian.
Yeah, he just says bless you afterwards now.
I'm sure there are some regulations there at the TAPS private school level, but he is a state champion high school football coach as well. Best of luck to Jason Witten on his first Hall of Fame ballot coming up this summer. All right, let's go back inside AT&T Stadium. Cowboys COO Stephen Jones is talking with our very own Nick Eatman.
Thank you, Kyle. And as always, joined by Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer here on the field. And it doesn't matter what network they put it on. Monday Night Football is Monday Night Football. And the Cardinals here in town, how exciting is that?
Well, it doesn't get any better than Monday Night Football. We all grew up watching it, and it's just outstanding. I mean, we're going to be playing before the whole country, obviously going up against a really good football team that's been in a lot of close games, and we certainly are looking to take the next step and go out there and play good football. And our fans are all here to support us. We're going to have a sellout crowd here, and hopefully give them something to get loud about.
This team has been pretty good at response, especially after a tough loss, and that one was a tough one in Denver. How have you liked the way this team has practiced and prepared this week?
Well, they're just outstanding. I mean, Coach Schottenheimer and his staff do a great job preparing the team, moving on to the next opportunity, learning from your mistakes. Don't just ignore it, but learn from it and then go out and do something about it. And that's what we did this week. I think we had a great week of practice, defensively, offensively, special teams, all the way around. So I expect us to play well tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of Cowboy fans that may be excited to know that Kyler Murray's not going to be playing, but Jacoby Brissett, he's a guy that you guys have seen a lot over the years. What do you think about him as the starter for the Cardinals?
Well, first of all, Kyler Murray's a great competitor. He's been undefeated in this building.
Yes.
What an unbelievable high school career. But Jacoby Brissett's going to be a handful. He's a pro's pro. He does everything the right way. We had a coach here, Bill Parcells, who's been a mentor of his, and has had nothing but great things to say about him. We know he'll go out there and do a great job leading the Cardinals tonight.
How about your quarterback, Dak Prescott, and just what he's done this year, and just you expect 40 points, averaging 40 points or more here at home, you expect that kind of fireworks again?
Well, that's a lot to expect, but at the same time, I think we've grown to expect it a little.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but Dak feels like he can do it. I promise you, if you ask him, he'd probably tell you, yeah, I feel good about getting 40. But, at the end of the day, he's a great competitor, great leader. Obviously, in the MVP race, we just need to go out and execute on all three phases, and I think good things will happen.
Well, this is a big room, but there's still an elephant in the room. I'll ask you about it real quick about the trades. Jerry did say that he thought, there's a chance to get a trade, maybe a couple before the deadline tomorrow. What can you say, if anything, about that?
Well, we've been as busy as we've ever been. I don't know if it's because of the injuries in the league, what it may be, but the phones have been hot in terms of looking at different opportunities that could improve us as a football team, and we're certainly looking at that. We think we're real close on a front or two, and and then have several other options going. So we'll just see how that turns out.
All right, it's going to be an interesting 24 hours to see if we can get a win here against the Cardinals tonight.
Sounds great.
All right, that's Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer. Kyle, we'll throw it back to you.
Thank you very much, Nick Eatman. And there are a lot of Cardinals fans that are out here. How about social media not liking what the Cardinals have done over the last 5 weeks? They've lost 5 straight. Coming into this one, all 5 by a combined 13 points of margin of victory. That is the least amount of points in a 5-game losing streak in NFL history, tied with the 2017 San Francisco 49ers. So they're hoping to get back on track, and Cowboys fans out here at the AT&T East Plaza are hoping this is not the night for the Cowboys, for the Cardinals to get back on track. Back with Barry, Isaiah, and Nate. Let's talk about this Cowboys-Arizona matchup, because Arizona, just as you heard, no Kyler Murray in the fold today. Jacoby Brissett will start. There's a chance that Kyler could possibly come off the bench and be in a part of a couple of offensive packages from now and again. But what has led to the Arizona downfall over the last 5 weeks?
To me, they just can't finish games. As you talked about it early on, I mean, 5 games where there's just one score or less to get the victory? They can't finish these games. They go out there, they fight you tooth and nail for all 4 quarters, but for whatever case may happen, they cannot finish the game. And I believe that's what has led to this team's downfall. They've had leads. They've had 2 touchdown leads in games, but they have not been able to finish so far this season.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that one, Barry. These guys are not far off, though.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take much to finish. They need one more drive. They need one more big play, one more catch. That's exactly where this Arizona Cardinals team is. They've lost all of the 5 of those games by collective 13 points. I want you guys to understand how close those games are. One play turns the tide of those. You just hope that it doesn't happen tonight.
It's their offense. I mean, if Marvin Harrison
gets going,
ever gets going, he's a great athlete.
Yes.
He's got the dropsies right now. He don't understand how important he is. That is the difference maker right there for them. So when we hold down the tight end, McBride, make sure we keep a hand on him too.
And all of those games decided by 1 possession or fewer, of course. Walk-off field goals in 2 of those, and then last-second touchdowns in 1 of those, and then the other 2 were inside the final 4 minutes as well. So it's been close in all of those matchups. Now, they've still got talent on both sides of the football. Yes. Isaiah, I'm going to start with you. Give me a player to watch for Arizona in this one.
Well, I hate to say this, even though he went to my university.
I knew it.
He's one of the best players in the league.
Was it
hands down, one of the best. Yeah, UW. He's one of the best safeties in the league. I have to give him his respect. His name is Buddha Baker. Yeah. Buddha, baby. You do not want to hear his name tonight because this is one of the few safeties in this league that can cover anybody, and he will hit you in your chest cavity and separate you from the ball. This dude loves contact. He wants to smoke, just like my old boy BC.
I was about to say, that sounds like Barry Church.
Yeah, it sounds just like me. But I'm going to go on the offensive side of things, and a name that Nate Newton had just talked about, and that's Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, this is a guy that the Dallas Cowboys have got to make sure they keep their eyes on throughout this entire game. Now, he hasn't lived up to that, the position he was drafted in, but this guy is a freak of nature. He's a guy that can go over the top of your defense. He has hands, but for whatever reason, he's had the dropsy so far this season, but you cannot get this guy going. Once this guy gets going and they get that connection between him and the quarterback, he becomes almost unstoppable out there. So you've got to keep your eyes on him. And for me, if I'm a defensive back for the Dallas Cowboys, I'm getting my hands on him. At the line of scrimmage, get your hands on this guy, slow him down, get him frustrated, and get his mind off of the game.
And of course, keep going, Nate.
My guy's Calais Campbell, number 93.
Big fella.
He's probably about 75 years old.
Gotta be.
Played for like 12 or 13 teams. But I tell you, the Cardinals brought him back because he's a threat. He's a playmaker. He'll pop up when you least expect. He can play over both tackles, and he can play a little bit over both guards, and he definitely can get over the nose, over the center. So you got to watch out for this guy.
Nate, what would you do against a guy who's 6'8", 330?
Ain't much I can do. My arms go long.
You stand in there and you make it happen as much as you possibly can in one like that. I was about to say, to lead Nate into his guy, you guys both take somebody in the secondary in the passing game, and then I was like, of course Nate Newton's going to go back to the trenches because that's where Nate has his eyes, and Calais Campbell ran.
Leon Lett, man, as long as some arms are, bro.
Oh, man, it's been a fun day out here already. We heard Josh Butler earlier give us our trivia question of the day. Here's his trivia answer. Plus, we'll hear a little bit more from the Cowboys locker room sessions this week.
Ping pong table in there. Yeah. You wanted there to be some fun elements when it's so up and down. Yeah. Do you find that there is still a lightness to the
Oh, definitely. And then stuff like that is really built for competition. So you always compete with somebody, and I feel like that aspect that Shotty put into the team is why we're always battling back, or why we're always competing.
How are you dealing with that?
A lot of stuff. Some guys have their own personal games besides ping pong. Me personally, I'm a ping ponger as well, so I can only kind of relate to that.
Shotty talked about Jaden Blue still trying to kind of find his way and find more consistency in this thing. You got the best guy next to him and you to learn from. You embrace teaching and leading in that way?
Yeah, for sure. Because, I know how hard it was for me. My rookie year with football and even the stuff off the field. It can be a lot sometimes. So, anywhere I can help him, I try to help him out.
Do you seek those moments out and kind of pull him aside after a practice like this, or does he come to you with that?
Yeah, no, I don't really bother him too much. I mean, if he got something to ask me or talk to me about, I give him little pointers. But, I mean, other than that, I might hit him every once in a while, I can feel it, but I don't really try to bother him too much.
Is it weird being only 25, but you're still kind of the old guy?
Yeah, that's crazy, because I'm still looking at him like, bro, I'm young too. The way they look at it, I'm a vet, so, I mean, I just got to take that leadership role.
Today's trivia question is, when did the Cowboys appear on Monday Night Football for the first time? The answer to today's trivia question is November 16th, 1970 versus the St. Louis Cardinals.
How about that? The last time, or the first time, rather, that the Cowboys were on Monday Night Football, it also happened to be against the Arizona, at that point, the St. Louis Cardinals, same organization all the way through. We've got AT&T Stadium getting ready for this one. Here's the inactive list for the Cardinals, and Kyler Murray, who was rumored to be available tonight, at least coming up until the final few moments. He is unavailable. He is inactive as he continues to heal from a foot injury. Let's take a look at the Cowboys inactive list on the other side of things, as the Cowboys will have Mozzie Smith inactive again. That continues to be a talking point in a season where he really needs to step up in a big way. Then Donovan Wilson on that list as well. That safety position, along with Elijah Clark, still very, very thin. However, even with this inactive list being what it is today, you've got a couple guys returning to the fold so far. Perrion Winfrey, Cooper Beebe, Donovan Wilson all back in practice. Of course, Wilson and Winfrey unavailable so far. But how about Cooper Beebe back in the fold? How excited are you to get him back, Nate? And who are you most excited to see back in the fold for the Cowboys this week?
You know, Kyle, I'm always excited to see the quarterback of the offensive line show up in Cooper Beebe. But more importantly, we need discipline, man, on our offensive and defensive lines. And that was my thing. When our producer called and said, ask this question, I want discipline. I want people to line up where they need to line up. I don't need pre-snap penalties. I need for this team to be disciplined and to get some type of consistency moving forward.
Demo is not playing, right?
No,
he's not.
Okay, all right, that's my answer. Yeah, that's my answer.
But how excited are you to get him back, though? That's the question at hand.
No, DeMarvion Overshown, I think, is a game changer. That's a person I know who's not going to be present here tonight, but I know that when he does return, he is a lightning bolt. When you talk about who is the emotional leader of this defense, he hasn't touched the field this year. Nope. When he returns, it's going to be DeMarvion Overshown, and I look forward to seeing what his energy and his impact does to everybody else around him.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to the defensive side of the football as well, and I'm looking at Malik Hooker. You know, I need to see him back into the lineup. You got to have your quarterback of the defense back there. We've seen so many different type of communication errors with this secondary out there, and that's just simply because there's no pre-snap communication between the corners, the safeties, the nickels, the linebackers. We've seen so many mental errors out there, and I believe that Malik Hooker may not be, the end-all, be-all, but he'll at least get these guys playing as a unit and at least get these guys playing on the same page. This Dallas defense needs their quarterback back in the secondary.
Why don't you like that? Why don't you like it, Isaiah? Isaiah's giving him a look up here.
Yeah,
what's going on? Why?
What's going on, man? You don't like Hooker?
No, we talked about discipline earlier. Oh, yeah. So he's bringing discipline.
I ain't saying nothing about. I said being the quarterback of the secondary.
Okay.
Just getting these guys on the same page. All right. Reiterating the call out there. I mean, we've seen it right now. The last game, y'all see the Broncos out there. That was
Barry is on some hopium right now.
Yes, he is.
The temperature out here is dropping, but it's still getting hot up here as these guys continue to talk about the safety position and what they've got coming up as well. Here's what they'll have to deal with today. No Kyler Murray. It's Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback position. Here's what he's done throughout his passing charts this season. He's been very good down the right side of the field. A lot of that is Trey McBride. And what Trey McBride has done, 46 receptions. He leads Cardinals wide receivers with over 470 yards receiving this year. He has 4 touchdowns as well. And he's had more success as a tight end in this offense when it's Jacoby Brissett at quarterback as opposed to Kyler Murray. Here's the comparison with Dak Prescott as we flip into the Cowboys side of things on the offensive side. They've had a lot of success on the left side. A lot of that is George Pickens, and a lot of that is Jake Ferguson and what they've done as well. Let's talk about Dak Prescott stepping into this matchup. He certainly has a lot on the mind trying to rebound after his performance against Denver last week.
Looking forward to being at home this week. Enjoying that atmosphere, right? Keeping it electric, keeping all the good stats and everything you're talking about going and rolling. and then get that answer on the bye week to make sure when we come out of that, we're the same offense and the same team that we are home or away. Communication and focus. When the communication is just making sure everybody's on the same page, as I alluded to, I had one obviously last week, got ready to come out of my stance as well, but it's just something that can be fixed with one reminder to everybody. A lot of nuances, a lot of emotions, a lot of different words and things, and at the line, right, depending on what position you are after, so many calls or this and that, you might need a reminder. So that's just us sticking together, communicating out, leaving nothing to chance, and we will get them cleaned up. That's a fix.
Expectations for Dak Prescott sky high this season, and he's lived up to them outside of the Week 8 performance against the Denver Broncos. What do you expect out of Dak today, guys, as you really get into the fold and see what he does for a rebound performance?
I expect Dak to get back to those MVP, type of numbers he was putting up early on, and that's because I believe this offensive line will have a bounce-back performance. I believe Javonte Williams will go out there and provide that balance that's needed for Dak Prescott. We all understand that he's at his best when he has that balanced rushing attack as well, and I expect all those factors to go into play, and Dak will be back to the Dak we've seen in the first couple weeks of the regular season.
I just want Dak to get back to allowing the game to come to him. That's what he had done all season long up until last week when they were pushing and trying to make something happen. He started forcing the ball into some bad coverages, started trying to make a play. And when you start doing that as a quarterback, you start having errant throws, and errant throws turn into turnovers whenever you're doing that. So I want him to allow the game to come back to him, see the field, read, go through your progressions, and hand the ball off to Javonte.
That's what I believe. I believe that wholeheartedly. If we get that ball to the Javonte about 35 times and let Dak be a truly a play-action pass quarterback that he is and be all right, just throw underneath. Yep. They telling you, you going to throw it underneath. We're going to let you complete it. Hey, let these great receivers make plays. Yeah.
And, of course, as you can see, we are rejoined by Nicole Hutchison here up at the desk in the AT&T East Plaza. Nicole, I'll ask you the same question here. What are your expectations for Dak in a rebound game?
Yeah, it's played Dak brand of football. I mean, you have a healthy offensive line back, right? Cooper Beebe's finally back as well. I mean, Javonte Williams, you guys have hit it on the nail. He finally has a balanced attack. Jadon Blue is inactive, so you get Malik Davis. Gives you a little bit extra burst coming behind Javonte Williams. So spread the ball around, play Dak brand of football, make good decisions, and use mobility when you can.
Dak Prescott following a loss since he was drafted back in 2016, 31-14-1. That's the fifth best win percentage out of quarterbacks with at least 5 starts. The only guys in front of him, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Tom Brady. It's a pretty good list to be a part of.
Who are those guys?
Those guys, they're all very good, to say the least, former MVPs. And then, of course, you've got Dak Prescott there trying to win his first MVP. The fans are ready for this one. It is Monday Night Football, Week 9 of the NFL season, as we take a look at some of Cowboys Nation getting active on social media. It's Week 9. The Cowboys have a chance to get back to 500, and there's a lot on the line in this one. We've got plenty to talk about when the Cowboys are at home. They've been great this season. Of course, the Cowboys undefeated at home. A win against the New York Giants in overtime. Boy, that was a fun game. 40-37, the first 40-point outing. Then they, of course, tie Green Bay in that classic of a game on Sunday Night Football. That was the last time they were in prime time. It was tied at 40. Another 40 burger for the Cowboys at home. And then, of course, the big win, probably the most complete game as a whole, as a team this season, a 44-22 win over the Washington Commanders. Dallas trying to replicate some of that success tonight. Nicole, I'll start with you. How has home field continuously played a factor for this Cowboys team here in 2025?
I mean, you're playing in your home turf. You're playing with a lot more confidence, right? And listening back to Clayton Adams, he had talked about the fact that the communication just hasn't been where he needs to be. And when he's been around some really good groups, right, he talked about the fact that the quarterback can go in the huddle, call the play, and it's been easy as there. Guys are visualizing their play, where they need to run their routes and things like that. And so, therefore, you're having to play on the road, with the silent count. How do they operate with that? So that's something that's really stood out to me. But I feel like it's just obviously that you play on your home turf. That's just a simple answer there.
Yeah, Nicole, you're 100% right. When you talk about playing at home field, you're comfortable. I mean, you got your routine. You can stop by at your house. You got your home locker right there. You got the fans behind you. And we all understand as former players up here, when you're relaxed, that's when you play your best brand of football out there. out there. And it seems like the Cowboys offense is really relaxed at home. Now, to me, I don't understand it because I was a road warrior. I liked it when it was all eyes on me, everybody's against me. I like that. That's that defensive side of me. But when you look at the offense out here, they're comfortable at home, and it really shows.
Yeah, the only thing I can rest my head on is the fact that it's the fans and the fam. Those are the two things that would make the change and make the difference here, because this game is of momentum shifts and swings. That's what football is. You make a good play, you get hyped up. You hype up your teammates. You look to the crowd amps you up, and obviously you get a little surge. It's like doggone, I don't even know, Goku. Super Saiyan this thing.
Wow.
It is. You just start to feel the vibe. So I think playing at home gives you that advantage. Hopefully they can get ahead and allow the crowd to play a significant role in it early on.
And all of those things these young people have said up here is true. But, with Barry, man, I always I was the dog, man. I go in your yard. Hey, Cowboys feeling better at home. Javante, hey, juggernaut roll, baby.
Running in your home, take over your trap. Run over your home, take over your trap.
Bold predictions real quick, everybody, as we wrap things up here on Cowboys Pregame Live. I'll start with you, Barry.
Javante Williams, over 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's my bold prediction.
All right.
Oh, my bold prediction is 121 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Did you just prices right, Barry?
I'm going Donovan Ezaraku, 2.5 sacks tonight.
2.5 tonight.
Yep.
Jay Ferguson will have 100 yards with 10 receptions and a touchdown.
All right.
Sir.
There you go. That's going to do it for us here on Cowboys Pregame Live, presented by WinStar World Casino and Resort. Special thanks to all those that stopped by here at AT&T Stadium. Catch us after the game for Cowboys Game Night. Go Cowboys!